Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll be developing an example using the direct command pool type in QuickApp. We'll demonstrate this example on the sales budget application we created earlier. Let's start by loading our application and discussing the scenario. For instance, you might be asked to report on how many stores contributed to last year's sales. They may want to see how many stores sold 477 units in the headwear cap category in the first month, and how many stores made up 80% of those sales. To meet this data requirement, we'll create a new data set, and we'll do it using direct command. First, I'll close the application and open the Edit Application workspace from the QuickApp tab. In the Pool section, we'll load the pools of the sales budget application. Let's create the new pool we need using the New Pool wizard. And I'll name it Store Counts. We'll use the Blue Earth connection again. And the source type will be direct command. In the source text section, we write the SQL query we want to execute directly, and I'll paste the query I prepared earlier. You can also find this query in the video description. Now, let's take a look at the query. In direct command, we input the SQL statement that will be executed directly. One key point to keep in mind is that this SQL query should return only a single record set. Therefore, I'm adding setNoCountOn to prevent results like one row affected from being returned. Afterward, I'm taking sales quantities by store, brand, category, main group, product group, merch year, and merch month from the last year sales view into a temporary table called Store Sales. While doing this, you'll notice that I've used workspace filter names in the Where clause to bring in the data based on the user's selected criteria. For example, Sales Channel ID will equal the sales channel selected by the user. Sales Season ID will match the chosen sales season, and Brand ID will filter by the selected brands. One important distinction with direct command is that we manually include the workspace filters in the query. In other pool types, QuickApp handles this automatically. Once we have the store sales table, I calculate the number of stores and the number of stores that made up 80% of the sales with a second select statement. I click OK. And the direct command pool is created. I'll set the refresh time to on filter change. Since we didn't complete this pool using the wizard, I'll need to manually define the pool key fields and pool filter relations. I'll go to the Pool Key Fields section and define the key fields for the new Store Counts pool. I know these will be the same as the last year actual pool, so I'm copying and pasting the key fields from last year actual. Then, I move on to the Pool Filter Relations section and do the same for the filter relations, since I know it needs to connect to the same filters. Next, we need to create two new values from the Store Count pool. I'll load the Values section and add two new measures. The first measure will be called Number of Stores. And the second will be Number of Top 80 Stores. Now, we'll create two values using the Create Values wizard. I'll select Create for Perspective and create new values for the last year actual perspective for both measures. I specify that these values should be read from the Store Counts pool. The DB field name for one will be number of store count, and for the other, it will be top 80 store count. I define their types as integer and leave the subtotal formula blank. These values are not editable or savable. To view these values, we need to add them to the layers. I open the View application and check the layers for the sales budget. I could add these values to the last year actual layer, but instead, I'll create a new layer. I'll name it last year store counts. And add the two values to this new layer. I won't add this layer to the default view. Users can open the customized view and choose to display this layer if they wish. Now, let's open the application and load our data. As you can see, we haven't seen the number of stores metrics yet because the layer isn't visible. I'll go to Customize View, head to the Layer section, and display the last year store counts layer. But we encountered an error. The sales channel ID isn't found in the store count pool. There's a missing part in the code. I'll fix that right now. Don't worry, the corrected code was in the video description, so you won't experience this error. After fixing the pool, I'll reload the data. And add the last year store counts layer. Now, as you can see, we can view the number of stores and number of top 80 stores values under last year actual perspective. For example, in the first month, the bottom socks product group sold in 10 stores, and 80% of the sales were made in 7 stores. That's okay, we've successfully created a simple direct command example together. Finally, to recap briefly, I return to Edit Applications Workspace. I'd like to point out that direct command is similar to inner command. We write the code directly in the source text section. The only thing to keep in mind is to add the set no count on statement if necessary, to ensure only the required data set is returned. Also, don't forget that we need to manually write the workspace filters in the appropriate parts of the code. You can also use direct command to develop your applications for more complex queries. See you in the next video, and take care!